15 games, that's what I've got for you all today from the latest Switch eShop sale. This one is a winner. It is massive, and all of these games under $10 or your regional equivalent. And we're not talking about throwaway games here either. These are genuinely great titles, including some absolute bangers at their lowest ever price. So if you're in the US, UK, Canada, Europe, or Australia, I think there's something here for everyone. Also, quick heads up, we've got a winner to announce later in the video for that $10 eShopper gift card. Now, if you did miss out, do not worry, I'm giving away one more. Just drop a comment below to enter. That's it. And hey, if this helps you find something good to play, consider subscribing. It really helps out a smaller channel like this one. And yeah, let's get into it. Beyond Galaxyland is 50% off a new low price, and this is a turn-based sci-fi RPG that didn't get nearly enough love at launch. You play as Doug, a high school kid sucked into a cosmic adventure with a talking robot and a guinea pig named Boom Boom, who naturally, I guess, carries a gun. The rating, it leans into retro sci-fi charm, but the real hook here is the variety. One moment you're exploring neon-lit casinos, the next you're fighting space dragons in a frozen wasteland. The combat, it's turn-based, feels classic, but it's also punchy. There's timed inputs and the ability to scan or even capture enemies mid-battle. It looks fantastic on Switch 2 with real nice pixel art, and there's just this great sense of atmosphere. I'm a sucker for anything with this kind of style. It's a sci-fi basically, and if you are too, well worth it. Tales of Iron is 90% off for those of you in the UK, Europe and Australia. That's a new low price. For everyone else, 80% off, matching the low price. I will quickly mention here, this sale for those in the UK, Europe and Australia, it's the summer sale. That's already been and gone in the US and Canada, so they're going to get just a few less deals this week. Typically, though, it's the other way around, so yeah, bear with me. But look, if you've been looking for a gritty side-scrolling Souls-like with real bite, this one's worth grabbing. Now, you play as Röki. You're basically heir to the Rat Throne. You're trying to reclaim your kingdom from the brutal Frog Clan. The combat, though, is weighty and unforgiving. Think dodge rolls, parries, executions, the works. It's also quite a short game, surprisingly. Kind of like this tight little adventure at around 8 hours, but it packs in a surprising amount of depth with new gear, optional hunts, and boss fights that hit bloody hard. The world then is beautifully illustrated. It's narrated by Doug Cockle, so yes, The Witcher, and it feels way more polished than its modest size suggests. This version then includes both expansions too. Little Nightmares 2 is 90% off a new low price, and this is one of the best horror platformers on Switch, full stop. You play as Mono, a young boy navigating a warped world of static-filled TVs, shadowy corridors, and grotesque giants, all with 6 from the original game by your side. The atmosphere here is just thick with dread, but it's never loud about it. And every room here feels like a puzzle. Every enemy feels like a close call escape, and it all builds towards one of the most incredible endings in the genre. Personally, I think this sequel nailed what the first game started. It's tighter, it's more confident, just a little bit more terrifying. I actually got to try a bit of the next game as well last year, coming to Switch 2 very soon, and it's going in some different directions. But yeah, right now, this is still the high point for the series. Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition is 75% off a new low price, and this, it's not one of your typical medieval RPGs. There's no magic, no dragons, just muddy boots, broken swords, brutally realistic take on 15th century Bohemia. Now, you play as Henry, the son of a blacksmith. You're thrown into a civil war after your village is burnt to the ground. From there, it's all about survival, swordplay, and slow, grounded progression. The Royal Edition then includes all of the major DLC, adding everything from full-blown siege missions to new story options, and it all runs surprisingly well on Switch. Switch 2, in fact, even offers some improvements, which I did cover in a video. I'll link that below alongside my core review. I do think as well, if I had to say one thing about this game that I kind of want to warn people almost, if you're after, you know, the kind of game that you'll blast through in the weekend, this is not it. It's long, it's dense, it's demanding. Few games honestly do the immersion better. It's kind of messy in a really good way. There's layered systems, deep role playing. It takes time to pick it up, but it's also one of the most authentic medieval settings ever put on a console. Eldest Souls is 90% off a new low price, and this one wastes no time. You're dropped into a crumbling world at the end of all things. You're armed with nothing but a great sword and basically a death wish. There's no filler, no mobs, just a gauntlet of brutal boss fights against ancient gods, each one tougher and more inventive than the last. It is a top-down Souls-like with pixel art that absolutely sings on the OLED. And while the combat here is punishing, it's also incredibly precise. Every dodge, charge, and slash matters, and beating a boss here feels like earning your place in the game's world. There is also a clever skill system that really rewards experimentation, letting you build around aggression, defense, or pure speed. So yeah, if you like your action games stripped back and incredibly brutal, this one, just check it out. Röki, never quite know how to say this, but it's 90% off, lowest price yet, and it's a quiet adventure wrapped in Scandinavian folklore. It's really all about atmosphere, puzzles, and heart. Now you play as Tove, a young girl venturing into the wilderness to save her family, slowly uncovering a world filled with forgotten gods, crumbling ruins, and strange creatures from storybooks. The puzzles, really well done. Never frustrating, but they will kind of stump you for a little bit. It's also the art style though on top of this. Stunning, clean kind of storybook visuals, they're just timeless. It's one of those games that will stick with you long after the credits roll, not because it's kind of loud or in your face or anything else, it's just really well done. The story is told beautifully. It's a perfect pick if you're in the mood for something a little bit more reflective. Disc Room is 83% off, hitting its lowest price to date, and the setup's simple here. You're trapped in a strange alien facility and every room wants to kill you with spinning blades. The name says it all. And that's basically it. But somehow, Disc Room turns that idea into something endlessly clever. Each chamber is a new death trap with its own patterns, speed changes, and twists. And the game keeps layering in mechanics without ever losing its arcade punch. There's even this light story woven throughout. Won't say there's much to it, honestly. Didn't really get the ending myself. But yeah, it's really just a game all about the rhythm of movement and yeah, trying to barely survive. So yeah, short, sharp, incredibly addictive, and my review is below. Sludge Life is 87% off on a new low price. This one's not going to be for everyone, I'll say that now, but that's exactly the point. Sludge Life drops you into this filthy corporate-controlled island. It lets you spray graffiti on whatever you want, and it mostly just asks you to poke around. There is a story in there somewhere, but really it's about the vibe. Lo-fi beats, deadpan humor, surreal characters loitering in stairwells or at rooftop parties. It's kind of like part immersive sim, part first-person sandbox, and it is totally unlike anything else on any console, in fact. So yeah, short, strange, unapologetically weird in the best possible way. Yeah, check out my review below, but this one is something unique. Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope is 83% off, a new low price, and this is one of the smartest sequels on Switch. It takes the surprisingly solid tactics foundation of the first game and turns it into something far more flexible and dynamic. Now the movement is no longer grid-based, abilities feel punchier, and each battle invites creative play rather than punishing, I guess, missteps. You're still getting turn-based strategy, but now it's kind of blended with freedom of movement and clever enemy design, charging beasts, sneaky teleporters, environmental hazards. It definitely still keeps things lighthearted on the surface, but the serious depth if you want to lean into character synergies and Sparks loadouts. It also looks and runs great on Switch. If you do want to go all in then as well, there is a gold edition available. That's also 83% off, so £12.49 or your local equivalent. And yeah, that one includes the season pass. Air Twister is 70% off, a new low price, and this is Yu Suzuki doing what Yu Suzuki does best. A genius, by the way. He also made Shenmue, but he's bringing here arcade flair to a surreal, stylized shooter that feels like it fell out of a dream. If you've ever played a Space Harrier, you're going to recognize the DNA immediately. It's fast, floaty, and just locked into that classic behind-the-back rail shooter perspective, but with modern visual flair and a surprisingly weird universe. You'll glide through alien landscapes, so on the back of a giant swan, you'll be dodging waves of enemies and locking on all over the place. And it's all then set to an operatic rock soundtrack that absolutely commits. It is as ridiculous as it sounds, and somehow all the better for it. Performance on Switch then is solid too, and yeah, it's a great handout experience in short bursts, perfect for those wanting to chase high scores or just soak in the strange vibes. So yeah, this one I'd say it's niche for sure, but there's nothing else quite like it out there. Company of Heroes collection is 50% off, a new low price, and this is one of the all-time great real-time strategy games. It's been rebuilt for console and bundled with both expansions, and yeah, set during World War II. It's really all about smart squad-based tactics, flanking matters, cover matters. Every tank actually feels like a proper investment, and over the years, it's held up really well. The missions then are tightly designed, the campaign still hits hard, and on Switch it runs surprisingly well thanks to really well done UI tweaks. That said, I'd love to see it on Switch 2 with a proper upgrade, because visual upgrade here would really make the environments pop, and if they could add mouse style control with the Joy-Con, it would just be perfect fit. Still, like, even as it stands, this is a hefty, rewarding strategy package at a really bloody good price. Streets of Rage 4 is 65% off a new low price. This is about as good as it gets for side-scrolling brawlers. It's a modern revival of a classic series, so Streets of Rage 4 just nails that balance between retro feel and modern polish. The combat is smooth, crunchy, and endlessly satisfying. Every hit here lands with weight. Every combo flows beautifully. And yeah, the game just oozes style. You've got multiple characters with different movesets, incredible hand-drawn animation, and a banging soundtrack. Also, the campaign, it doesn't outstay its welcome, but there's tons of replay value here. Harder difficulties, co-op modes, unlockable characters. It's just one of the best feeling arcade loops on the system. I'd say most people tend to argue whether this or TMNT Shredder's Revenge takes the crown. I go back and forth personally, but what I do know about this game is it's a must play for everyone. Black Book is 65% off a new low price, and this is a dark Slavic folktale wrapped in a deck-building RPG. Now, it stands out immediately for its setting and tone. You'll be playing as a young sorceress who makes a pact with demonic forces to bring her lost love back from the dead. It's basically going to be done by unlocking the 7 seals of the Black Book. The world, though, is bleak, rural, and full of creepy encounters with spirits, curses, and tons of morally murky decisions. Combat then is turn-based and built around spell combos, with new cards and abilities unlocking as your power grows. But outside of battle, there's this whole investigative side too, helping villagers, banishing evil, choosing whether to lean into corruption or resist it. It's definitely rough-edged, but it's ambitious, and the folklore gives it this flavour you just don't often see. Laika, Aged Through Blood is 60% off a new low price, and this is one of the most original action games on the Switch, one of the most overlooked as well. Now, self-described as a motorphania, Laika blends fast-paced motorcycle traversal with precision shooting and a somber, post-apocalyptic tale about rebellion, motherhood, and survival. Now, you play as Laika, a coyote warrior riding through a sun-scorched wasteland, performing flips, dodges, and tons of slow-motion gunplay. It is great stuff. And that movement takes some getting used to, but once it clicks, chaining together stunts and shots just feels incredible. It's also gorgeous. The hand-drawn art style just pops on the Switch, and the atmosphere leans more into, quiet than non-stop chaos. There is combat for sure, do not get me wrong, but there's also that story in the background which is actually quite impressive. There's a bit of weight to it. So yeah, if it's not obvious, I was really impressed. Highly recommended. Our winner of the week then for the $10 eShop gift card, their name is on screen right now. Congrats on the win, email me for the code, everyone else. Drop a comment down below for your chance in next week's video. Our final game then, Subnautica Below Zero, is 75% off a new low price, and if you've ever wanted a survival game that feels equal parts relaxing and terrifying, this is it. Below Zero absolutely delivers. Now, it's set in a frozen region, and it builds on the core loop of exploration, base building, and deep sea survival. You're basically seeing a bit more of a defined story over the first game, I'd say, and some really intense moments. Expect though to be managing oxygen, heat, hunger, and sanity, or scanning alien life forms and searching for a missing individual. It's really a game of, not only survival, but pushing things forward and trying to figure out what's, beneath you. And that's the video down. What will you be adding to the library this week? Let me know in the comments. Do remember to drop a comment down below for your chance to win a $10 eShop gift card in next Thursday's video. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers all.